Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of our podcast. I'm Rodrigo.
And I'm Ariel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're diving in a topic that honestly uncomfortable but super important: child labor in the fashion industry.
Yeah, it's something we don't usually think about. We buy clothes, we wear them, we post pictures wearing them, but how often do we stop and ask ourselves who actually made these clothes?
Exactly. And when we start looking deeper, we find out that some of these clothes, especially the cheap ones from big fast fashion brands, might actually be made by kids working in terrible conditions.
So, today we will ask one big question. Could the clothing industry really survive without child labor? Let's try to figure that out together.
Okay, so before we start blaming anyone, we need to understand what child labor really means.
Right. Child labor isn't just any kind of work a child does. It's when kids are forced to work of going to school, usually in dangerous, exhausting, or unhealthy conditions.
Exactly. Like helping your parents a bit at home or in a family store is not the same. The problem is when the work harms their health or stop them from study and having a normal childhood.
In the clothing industry, that often means kids spending 10 or 12 hours a day sewing clothes, gluing shoes, or carrying heavy bags of fabric in small, crowded, hot factories.
And something they get paid almost nothing, maybe $1 or $2 per day, or even less. Many of them start as young as 8 or 9 years old.
It's heartbreaking. It's crazy to think that something as simple as a $5 t shirt could hide a history of pain and exploration.
So why does this still happen today? We all know child labor is wrong, right?
Yeah, everyone knows that. But the truth is, it still happens because of profit. Big companies want to produce clothes as cheaply as possible so they can sell more and make more money.
And to do that, they move productions to countries where labor laws are weak, where expectations almost never happen, and where people are desperate for any kind of job.
Exactly. In places like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and even parts of Africa, many families live on less than $2 a day. When parents can't find steady jobs, sometimes the only way to survive is by sending their kids to work.
That's the sad part. It's a vicious cycle. Poverty causes child labor, and child labor keeps families poor. Because if kids don't go to school, they grow up without education, and the cycle just repeats.
And big companies take advantage of that situation. They might say, "Oh, we don't know there were kids working there," but they know. They just don't want to look too closely.
Now let's talk about fast fashion, one of the biggest villains in this story.
Fast fashion basically means producing clothes super quickly and cheaply to follow every new trend. You know, those stores that drop a new collection every single week?
Yeah, like Zara, Shein, they make millions of clothes every month. And because the demand is so high, factories are under huge pressure to produce faster and cheaper all the time.
And when they cut costs, guess who pays the real price? The workers, especially the kids.
Exactly, it's crazy. We see influencers posting haul videos showing 10 new outfits they bought for cheap, and no one thinks about who made them or how.
Fast fashion looks perfect in these stores, but behind the bright lights, there's a dark reality. Overworked adults and children living in poverty, just so people can buy clothes they will wear twice.
So let's look at the positive side. Do you think the fashion industry could work without child labor?
I believe yes, it could, but it's not going to be easy. First, companies need to pay adults fair wages so families don't have to rely on their kids' income.
Yeah, and they also need to make their supplies chains transparent, like showing exactly where the products came from and who's making them.
Right, some brands already start doing that, but it takes effort and money. It's way easier and cheaper to ignore it.
Still, paying adults fairly would actually help break the poverty cycle. If parents earn enough, their kids can stay in school, study, and eventually get better jobs.
Governments also need to play their part, making stricter laws, inspecting factors, and investing in education. Without that, the problem just continues underground.
But honestly, do you think people really care when they're shopping?
That's the problem. Some people care, but a lot of people don't even think about it. They see a cheap hood and just buy it. That's why raising awareness is so important.
If everyone understood that a kid might have worked 12 hours to make the $10 hoodie, they'd probably think twice.
Exactly. Every small decision matters. Choosing sustainable brands, buying secondhand, or even just buying less can make a huge difference.
It's like voting with your wallet. Every purchase is a vote for the kind of world you want to live in.
Yes, if we all start voting for ethical fashion, companies will have no choice but to change how they produce clothes. There are already some brands proving that it's possible to make clothes ethically and still be successful.
Patagonia is a great example. They focus on sustainability and fair trade, making sure the people who make their products are treated and paid fairly.
Also, organizations like the Fairwear Foundation check if companies respect workers' rights and make sure no child labor is involved.
It's so good to see that change is possible. Ethical fashions doesn't just protect workers, it also builds trust with customers.
Exactly. It's proof that the fashion industry doesn't have to be dirty to be profitable. You can respect people and make money at the same time.
That's the future. Fashion that's ethical, transparent, and responsible. So, to wrap up, could the clothes industry operate without child labor?
Yes, but it depends on all of us. Companies, governments, and consumers each have a role to play.
Fashion should make people look good, but also feel good about what they're wearing.
Exactly. Clothes shouldn't be made by children. They should be made for children to wear freely, to study, to play, to live their childhood.
Beautiful said, man. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye. Have a great day.